Hi, I am Mohsen, and this is part two in Simon Fraser University's six-part screencast on successful and ethical exam writing. In part one, I covered general preparation strategies that will help with any exam, including distributed practice, which means studying consistently over a number of weeks rather than cramming, and practice testing. In this part, I will expand on practice testing in a specific context of how to prepare for quantitative exams in courses like math, statistics, or chemistry. First, it's important to mention that every time you get an assignment or test return, don't just look at your mark, but also look at any corrections or comments the instructor has written about how you solve the problems and learn from those comments. Many students don't look at the feedback and end up repeating the same mistakes on more assignments and tests. A mistake that might have cost you 1 mark on an assignment might end up costing you 1 or more% of your final grade if you keep repeating it all term. Anyone who has taken problem solving courses like math knows that the way to study for tests is to practice with questions. However, there are more or less effective ways to practice with questions. The key is to get as close to exams like questions as you can while you are practicing. On a test, you will encounter problems from different sections of the course mixed up randomly, without any indication as to which course concepts or formula apply to it. Therefore, you need to practice with sets of problems that are mixed up like that, where you have to be familiar with all the possible types of problems and be able to identify problems and make decisions about how to solve them, all the while mentally switching back and forth between different parts of the course. Simply solving problems by sequentially going through different sections of a textbook, each with a heading that gives away the type of problem that it is going to be of limited help. A related concept is interleaved practice, which is defined as alternating your studying between the various types on the test rather than focusing on them one at a time. Research has demonstrated that interleaved practice is very helpful when studying for exams, especially in quantitative disciplines. You also need to practice by solving problems at all levels of difficulty. Often students will, for example, be able to do 18 problems out of 20 in a problem set. They might say, well, that's 90%, so I'm not going to worry about the other two problems. That's the wrong approach because problems like the two tough ones are more likely to show up on exams. It's important to solve difficult problems when you are studying rather than facing them for the first time in a high stake exam situation. Not just because you need to learn how to solve those types of problems, but also to learn how to get through the uncomfortable feelings that comes with initially not knowing how to solve a problem. Students who don't practice trying things to solve difficult problems while experiencing that discomfort in a low stake situation are more likely to freeze or have their minds go blank when facing a difficult problem in the high stakes environment of an exam. that anxiety often impacts their ability to solve even easy problems on the exams. If you spend some time trying to solve a difficult problem when you are studying and still aren't getting anywhere, ask your TA or classmate for a hint to get you through one step of solving the problem. Then resume trying to solve it yourself. Watching someone else solve the whole problem isn't the same as solving it yourself. Neither is looking up the answer and working backwards through the problem. You won't have that opportunity on the exam. Students often say that they did poorly on a problem-solving exam because the professor unfairly included problems that they hadn't learned about in the course. But they don't realize that the class actually covers what they need to know to solve those problems. But the professor has made the problem appear new in order to test whether students have a deep enough understanding of course concepts to recognize them in the problem. These slides list various ways in which professors construct these sorts of problems, and there is more information about each way if you scan the QR code on this slide. Become familiar with these ways of constructing difficult problems is important. Partner with a classmate to construct problems like these ones for each other to solve. Finding past exams or getting sample problems from your professor or TA are great ways to get mixed problem sets at various levels of difficulty to practice for a test. The QR code here links to past exams from SFU's math department. I hope this section helps you prepare for quantitative exams. Why not jot down a couple of notes about new strategies you plan to try? Additional resources to help you with your quantitative courses are available on SFU's Student Learning Commons website. Under the orange Learning and Studying tile on the home page are two links under the heading Types of Courses that will help. The first is Problem Solving and Quantitative Courses. There is also a link called Specific Courses where you can find resources for specific quantitative disciplines such as math, chemistry, physics, accounting, economics, and others. Thanks for watching this section and good luck with your exam.